Hello, guys. So, today we are going to be going over elements of a screenplay or script. Okay, and so this still falls under the umbrella of the multi genre, right? So, we've talked about short fiction, we've talked about nonfiction, we've talked about poetry, we've talked about infographics, multimodal. So, now we are going to be looking at drama and screenplay. So, before we do that, I just wanted to go over some notes. So, the notes that we're going to be going over today are the five elements that make up a great screenplay. And when we're thinking about these elements, right, we want to look at them like building blocks. They're connected to each other to carry out the load and the balance of the story. So we're going to go over each element together because after this, you guys are going to try your hand at writing your own screenplay. Okay? All right. So the elements of a great story are far from secret ingredients, right? Depending on which storytelling theory you consult, they might go by different names, but the names that we're going to use are character, want and need, plot, structure, conflict, and resolution. All right, so the first two are the character and the character's want and need. All right, so every story needs a hero. Your protagonist or your main character determines what is happening in your story. Without a hero and their actions, there would be no story, right? So the main character will draw your audience in if they can identify with and root for them, right? So if they're relatable, you need to create a likable hero. Your protagonist should start out as far from perfect, but give them qualities that make them relatable, and then your audience will want to keep reading. Just another thing to keep in mind when we're talking about character is a character is well rounded when we perceive them as believable or authentic. Humans in general are complex beings. So, an interesting character has at least one thing that they need to fix. This can be a problem or some type of flaw. Okay, and a thing that the hero needs to fix allows the story to develop and move forward, right? So the problem can come in the form of an opponent, so a foe or a villain or an antagonist to complement the protagonist, or it can come in the form of secondary characters. So these people enable the hero's progression or transformation of character. The character also needs the second element, which is a want and a need. Okay, a hero who lacks nothing makes for a boring tale, right? A hero who has everything, right? It's pretty boring. Nobody wants to hear about that. So in every great story, their want and their need define them. Okay. So these are things that motivate the main character in their actions, right? So this would be their wishes, their dreams and desires. Um, so the object of the hero's pursuit, okay, that would be what they want. But what turns out to be the true solution to their flaw or problem is another. It's their need. And that's what ends up changing their life. Okay, so that's important. The external journey can be specific to the main character, but the internal journey is more reflective and universal, something that the hero has to learn or has to change about themselves. Okay, so that's the first two. Let's move on to the next, and this will be plot and structure. Okay, so plot and structure are pivotal again. Again, I want you to think of this like building blocks. All of these connect to one another to make a great script or screenplay. Okay, so the plot is the storyline. And it's a series of events in which actions and occurrences cause and affect later ones. The plot ties the events in your story together. Okay, and it's directing the audience toward the question, why does it all happen? Together with character, the plot affects everything in your writing. Okay, so the plot is very important. So it's tying the events of your story together. Now, the structure is closely related to the plot, okay, but the structure defines the timing. Okay, so when do these events occur? And timing is everything, right? So each one of your screenplays or scripts should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. All right, and moving on to the next two would be conflict and resolution. And these are the last ones. So plot creates tension, which and that tension makes the story interesting and entertaining. Okay, two people falling in love and spending the rest of their life together is a love story. But a hero pursuing their love despite denial is much more intriguing. So you want to introduce into your story, you want to introduce tension. Okay, an antagonist can be a villain, a rival, a character flaw, or an external circumstance, such as society as a whole. Okay, you'll be able to increase the tension by raising the opposing force. So, raising, depending on what it is that you choose, right? The villain, the rival, whatever it is that you choose. By raising that opposing force, you are increasing the tension within your play. So the conflict drives the hero out of their current circumstances and it drives them towards change, right? So as they develop, their need takes prevalence over their want until they're truly changed as a resolution. Okay. And so, again, this idea conflict drives the plot. A change should occur as a result. And how does the story end? How is the tension resolved? Okay. So, again, that goes back to structure, right? So, you should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. All right. So, the next video I'm going to share with you, we're going to talk about actually writing a script. Okay. And it's not going to be long. But you will have to include all 5 of these elements. Okay? All right. Thank you. Bye.